Welcome to USA Global TV and Radio, where our mission is to provide education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. USA Global TV and Radio connects you with experts and audiences all around the world every single day to help you succeed in business and to live a richer life. Visit us at usaglobaltv.com to learn about career and life-changing training and mentoring programs like the Listening Mentor. Subscribe to our newsletter to stay informed about our special programs and offers. Discover how you can become a guest on one of our shows or a host or producer of a USA Global TV and Radio show of your very own. That's USA Global TV and Radio, where the doctor is always in.
Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to USA Global TV and Radio. I am Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and I'm super excited to be here with you to provide you with some of the latest updates about what's been going on with our channel. So welcome. And if you're not aware, we currently have 41 different shows for people to choose from. Whether you're watching or whether you want to be a guest on our show, we invite you and celebrate you. Please go over to YouTube and look for USA Global TV and Radio and just click subscribe so that you can be made aware of all the incredible content that our team is bringing for you. If you're interested in being a guest, go to our website, usaglobaltv.com. Book your session. All right, so let's get started. We have a number of exciting things happening, and I just want to review them with you because you might not be aware there's so much going on. Our mission is to provide world-class education, entertainment, hope, and inspiration. Our team is 50 plus members strong across the world, and we're all about collaborations. We're all about networking. We're all about positivity and lifting each other up. So if that sounds like something that you might be interested in, we'd like to hear from you, and you'll be able to find in the comments ways for you to reach out. Here's my contact information. You can go right over to my email, drjacalyn@usaglobaltv.com, or you can go to our website, as I already mentioned, usaglobaltv.com, and wherever it is that you're watching us right now, there's other information about how to connect with us. All right, so let's get started. We just had a fabulous show that was on. Are you a fan of improv? Do you know what improv is? Do you know the value that improv can bring? Well, one of our team members certainly does. His name is Keith Saltayanis, and he just had his 5th episode here on the Perfect Podcast Show. And he is reviewing each week what it takes to have a perfect podcast. He just had Gina Maria Garcia on today, and she's doing incredible things with hair extensions, especially for sporting events. You know, when you want to support your team, but you don't necessarily want to go and dye your hair, don't dye, buy. That's her philosophy. So we want to just encourage you to go over to Keith's playlist over on YouTube and catch the rest of his episodes. We also have a collaboration with E360 TV, and we have 3 different shows right now that are live streaming on our platform as well as E360, not at this specific moment, but on the programming schedule. So Talking Heads is one of those, and I'm very excited and proud to be a part of that wonderful opportunity where we are now streaming through E360 TV onto Amazon, Roku, and Apple TV. One of our team members, Zane Carson Caruth, she has her own show here, which will be sharing that more information about that shortly. She's doing a special event at Neiman Marcus in Houston. If you happen to be in the Houston area, and I know we have a lot of people from Texas who watch, please do go ahead and sign up to be part of the special book reading and signing event. You can email rsvphouston@neimanmarcus.com, and then you'll be able to meet Zane and also learn more about Books to Bed and the world's first tooth fairy ever, one of Zane's incredible books for children. So thank you again to Zane for being one of our official sponsors. One of our other shows that's on E360 TV and USA Global TV and Radio is A Woman's Prerogative. This is a very interesting program because we have women from all over the world who come together to talk about a specific topic. For this week, they were talking about financial independence and empowerment. What does that mean? What does it mean to you? What does it mean to them? And because we have women in different time zones, so that people don't have to get up in the middle of the night, although we do have someone who is staying up till midnight, we have 2 episodes of A Woman's Prerogative each and every Monday. So we hope that you will join us for that. Please mark your calendars. Also, Katrina Valente is doing a new show called Dating Chronicles with Katrina, and that is a blast. I really enjoy doing that show with her. She's got some people she's interviewed about dating, whether it's dating someone older, dating someone younger, whether it's dating manners, dating etiquette, lots of great pointers that she's bringing out for us there. Also, a very special event coming up. It's World Jenny's Day. We are the proud sponsor and producer for World Jenny's Day that is taking place literally 2 weeks from today. Janetta Barry, who is the founder of World Jenny's Day, to help people celebrate and normalize conversations about mental health wealth. This is a 19-hour event followed by an in-person gala in London. So we'd love to have you participate. We will be streaming, as I just mentioned, for 19 hours here starting 2 weeks from now. You can find out more information on worldjennysday.com. We also have our Planet Earth show, where Roland Friedel and I meet and talk about various things going on with the earth, with the planet, with animals, how we can get involved. There's no judgment, there's no politics. It's just conversation about what we all can do to better the planet and the life here. And also tying it along with that is coexistence and sustainability with pet psychic Amina. And these are 2 areas for her that are extremely important. Learning how to coexist, learning how to create more sustainability in our lives on our planet. And I've learned so much from her. I am truly grateful. So we have so many shows. We've got dementia home care, and this one really is near and dear as my mother had dementia for a number of years. And as a caregiver, it's a tough road. It's a tough road that if you haven't done it before, it's one of those things that you can't even imagine what it's like. And so my hat goes off to Tracy Cram Perkins for being a 4-time survivor of dementia caregiving. And she's written a book, which I own a copy of. It's absolutely fantastic. It's like the Bible when it comes to dementia home care. All right. Thank you for paying attention during those details. I want to talk to you about a few things. I was listening to something on the radio and it was really inspiring. It was basically how we put ourselves into a corner and we think we can only do certain things well. And maybe other people even tell us, oh, you're no good at that, or you'll never be any good. And yet we have people coming to this platform all of the time telling us about what it is that they overcame. And if they didn't walk the journey that they walked, that they never would be where they are. And that was really detailed today in one of our shows that I mentioned earlier. And I'd love for you to go ahead and watch this, The Perfect Podcast Show. Gina Maria Garcia was talking about some of the challenges that she overcame to start her business of selling these hair extensions, that she was a journalist, has a journalist background, and she did a ton of research about hair extensions and wigs and how they were being made. And now the company that she has, they're also involved with a nonprofit to help clean up oil spills in the ocean using hair, believe it or not, hair mats. So I wanted to share with you this book, Adversity to Awesome. This is a book that I wrote, I think, in 2021, and it's a compilation of other people's stories. Each chapter has someone else's story. And of course, one chapter has mine. And I really am so proud of this book because of the work and the caring and sharing by each of the people who were in this book who shared their story. For example, Dr. Madeline Chan, Caroline Heward, Roland Friedel, Justin Rigliani. I could go on and on. So pick up a copy of this book if you're looking for inspiration, if you're thinking to yourself, I have these health issues, I have financial issues, somebody just left me, I lost my job, I lost my home. Other people have been through really tough things, and you can pick up some great pointers here that I hope will help you. It's kind of a book review right now. And the reason being is I never wrote any books in my life. I wrote my master's thesis and I wrote my doctoral thesis, which is a completely different type of writing. And I met somebody here on this platform, Mr. Red O'Loughlin, and he really gave me the inspiration to write a book. But he uses a different process. He's my book coach. And the process that he uses really was something that enabled me to get out of my own way. So I highly, highly recommend that you reach out to Red. His contact information is on LinkedIn, Red O'Loughlin. He's here on Thursdays. We do 4 shows together. I think this Thursday we might be doing 5. I don't even know. But he helped me write my first book, which is hard to see because there's a lot of green in it, Behind the Green Screen. And the reason that I wrote this book is to share my story about how and why I left the corporate world in 2020. My last day in corporate was March the 6th, and I made 6 figures. I flew all over the world. I had incredible clients. I had the best healthcare, and I gave it all up working with several coaches, one of whom is a dear friend and also a member here of our team, Mariska Dupria. She's in New Zealand, and we happened to meet through a life coaching certification course. We were paired together to do some role plays, and then as it turned out, even though we're literally worlds apart, we became good friends, and she helped me come up with my plan to leave corporate because, as many of you know, and I hear this a lot, there are people out there who are not happy with their corporate career, but they can't get the courage, the strength, the insight to let go because of the paycheck, because of the healthcare benefits, because of the routine that they're used to, maybe the freedom that they have, maybe the people that they've met. And I had a great career in corporate. I loved it. I had great clients. I had a great team of people I worked with, that ITA group, fabulous people. And as I mentioned, I got to travel the world and do site inspections and national sales meetings and just amazing things. But at some point, there just came a time when my health wasn't cooperating. And so I wrote this book to detail some of the things that happened during my journey. And then also how I actually started this platform, which started out just as a radio show out of New York. And I was still doing my corporate job. And then from there, started with 1 show on TV. And now we have, as I mentioned, 41 shows a week that people can choose from. That doesn't mean every week we're streaming 41 shows. It depends if people have booked in for them. But we have 41 different shows that have been created, and there are options for people. So go pick up a copy of this book if you're looking for incentive on how can I break free from the chains that are binding me and all of the carrots that are dangled in front of me that are keeping me where it is I am, when I know that there's something else out there for me. Doesn't mean that it's better, but it's possibly your passion. And what I'm doing today is my passion. So from there, we started with children's books. I don't have any children, okay? I'm hardly ever around children, but we started putting together some children's books because I realized in the work that I do here, I've done over 5,000 shows that I've hosted or produced, that most people, maybe you, I don't know, are not listening fully. They're not fully engaged. They're not fully present because inside their mind, there's so much going on that they can't concentrate on what the other person is saying. So I thought to myself and with my team, what if we came up with this series of children's books where we taught children and their families how to listen at an elevated level? I'm 60 now. So instead of having to undo all of the bad patterns of things that I learned through my life, if I were a child and I was learning how to listen at an elevated level and my family was learning that at the same time, can you imagine how that gives so much empowerment personally and professionally to have those incredible skills to listen at an elevated level? So we have a show here, and then I'm going to segue back to the books, but we have a show called The Listening Mentor. And this is a show that I do with Caroline Heward. She's a very dear friend, very special woman. She is known as the Harley Street Stress Expert, and she helps people literally bust their stress. And I can tell you, friends, that I have called on her a number of times before my mother passed away. And since my mother passed away, she has been like a godsend to me. She's a great listener, and she's also a certified therapist. So if you're looking for somebody to help you with whatever stress related issues you're dealing with, whatever's keeping you up at night, she does a free 30-minute Zoom session. So you can also find her on LinkedIn. You see her name there, Caroline Heward. So we on our team got together and started to put together these books. And these books for children are all under the name The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. And you may say, wow, that is a mouthful. What does it even mean? Well, here's the first book. And again, this has green in it. These are green trees. But you see the name of the series, The Amazing Adventures of Lady Ella, the Listening Mentor. Well, Lady Ella is actually a real person. She is my great niece. And so each of the books are dedicated to her. And each of the books have her picture in it. And she just turned 2. So it's amazing to see the evolution of how she's changed just in the photographs. And that's how we can change as people. When we learn how to listen at an elevated level, you will see major changes in your life. What am I talking about? I'm talking about deeper connections, better relationships, and more authentic conversations. Because we get into these patterns of dysfunction and we don't even realize it. Let's say we're in a relationship with somebody for a long time. They do certain things, we do certain things. Certain things trigger us, they trigger them. We feed off of each other. Before you know it, it's in an argument, somebody's walking out. These things happen all the time because we're not listening, because we're so emotional that we can't take the emotion and put it aside to actually listen to what the other person's saying. Or someone's saying something and we're judging what they're saying. Or someone's saying something and we're thinking, as soon as they stop talking, I cannot wait to jump in and say what I have to say. Or the one that really drives me crazy is when someone's speaking about something and we know how to fix it for them. Oh, yeah, we have all the answers, don't we? We can't fix ourselves, but we got a million ways we can fix somebody else. So back to these books. All of the book covers, which I'm going to show you, have animal characters on them. And all of the animal characters represent real people. Wait, it gets better. The real people are people on our team who have taken my course, The Power of Listening. They've watched role plays of people demonstrating certain behaviors, and they've taken a quiz and gotten certified. And as the listening mentor with Ella, the name Ella, that's me. I'm the ladybug. So I fly from place to place, meeting different animals and helping them with their communication skills. So in book 1 of the series, Lady Ella, fly to Gentle Farm. And at Gentle Farm, we have farm animals and we have forest animals. And there's a fence that's keeping us from each other. But something's going on in the barn and it's affecting all of the animals. And they all start talking at the same time and none of them are listening. And as they're talking at the same time and they're not listening, they're coming to conclusions about things that are possibly not true. So Lady Ella has to fly in and has to have a conversation with them to help them learn how to listen. So after she leaves Gentle Farm, she goes to this school of joy where she meets other animals. So you can see here I am flying in, and we see Crystal the butterfly. We see Penser the swallow. We see Testadora. We see Olivia. We see Blossom. And in this particular book, there's a talent show that's going to take place at this school. And the animals are sort of in an uproar, no pun intended, about who's going to be doing what during the talent show. And so Testadora has a main role in this particular one because he's going to be performing at the talent show, as are the others, but his talent is a little bit different. And what's so cool about these books, and this one specifically, is that we actually have a song that we wrote, 4 of us. It's called Listening Lazies. And We had someone perform it, and we came up with a music video. I'm going to be sharing the music video in a moment. But I was actually at a party, and I brought this book with me and this one. These were the only two I had with me. And I happened to see this woman, and she's a grandmother. And I said, hey, would you take a look at these books? Because I haven't done any book signings. It was the pandemic. Then I was taking care of my mom. Now my mom's passed away. So I haven't done any official book signings or gone to any bookstores. So this was my first foray with a real person saying, what do you think of these books? She said, they're absolutely magnificent. She actually went to Amazon and wrote a review. And she said, I love the fact that you have this sheet music in here so that I can play this on the piano. And that was the whole point of it. So by the way, when I say we on these books, every animal character, as I mentioned, is a real person on our team, and they're all featured in the back of the book. So here I told you about Red O'Loughlin. In this book, Red is the red ibis. So there's Red's picture, there's his character, here's his information. And then to get in touch with him, you can just turn the page and you can see his links. And then there's Hyatt, he's the horse. So all the information is available. And I would love if you would support our team. There's a lot of work that went into these books. And in the second book, it's the same thing. You can go to the back and you can find, here's Amina Ramzani, and she was Blossom the bee in this particular book. So after Lady Ella leaves the School of Joy, she flies over to London where she's going to have afternoon tea. And you can see here Gerard the giraffe, and you can see Mimi the cat, and you can see the swan named Princess. And this is Caroline Huard. She's the star of this one. She's also the star of our first book. She is the white owl here, Tara. So in this book, Lady Ella flies in, and of course, tea is very big in London, having an afternoon tea party. And so there's a lot of discourse going on at the tea party. People are not getting along. And so Lady Ella has to go in and save the day once again. So you can learn more about these particular wonderful contributors. Mariska Dupria, she's a co-author of this book, as is Dr. Chan as well, Madeline Chan on this one. So after Lady Ella leaves London, you think she's really tired, flapping with her tiny little legs and her wings. She goes to the ocean because the ocean is crying. And the ocean calls Mother Earth, and Mother Earth calls Lady Ella, and Lady Ella's listening. And the ocean is crying because there's so much pollution in the ocean. So that's another thing that I want to add, that each of these books not only helps teach the animals and their families how to listen, but there's also some type of key learning. So in this particular one, it's about ocean pollution. And one of the animals, I'll see if I can find it quickly, actually gets caught in a fisherman's net. And so let me find it here. So you can see here's Eve the seal caught in the fisherman's net. And that's Lady Ella, and she's on Thomas the dolphin, and they are working together as a team to save Eve. So we also have Carl, the beautiful mermaid here, and Hola, the whale, and then Sid the squid, who's the one who played the evil trick on Eve. So as I mentioned, each of the books is dedicated to Ella, and I didn't show the other ones, but here she is. She's so sweet in the little field. And guess what's so super special? Book 5 literally just arrived today. That's what gave me the idea to do this update. Here's book 5. I have it in my hands. I was saying to my sister today, there's something about when you are an author and the book comes and it's in your hand. You can see it on Amazon. It's not the same thing as when you hold it and you say, wow, I can't believe it. The book is here. So this is book 5 of the Lady Ella series. And just to give you a sneak peek, after Lady Ella leaves the ocean and helps with the ocean animals and the pollution to understand we don't want to be polluting. We don't want to be throwing things into the ocean. She leaves and she goes to Africa. Can you imagine? Her little wings are so tired. But no, she's not flying there on her own. She's flying there on Seagull Airlines. So here we see her, and she's got her little nightshade glasses on. So the Seagull Airlines is going to take her to the Baobab National Game Park, where she meets with the park rangers. Here they are. and they have a dog. And so what ends up happening is that this tree, the baobab tree, which you can't see because it has green in it, this is a key place where the animals convene because it offers all kinds of shade, and it also offers a fruit source. So it's a sort of like the local watering hole, if you will. And there's a long history about baobab trees, and we've gone through this in a number of our shows. But so Lady Ella flies in. And again, here's the real Lady Ella. What a sweetheart. So Lady Ella flies in, and she has to work with the park rangers because their dog is not able to communicate effectively with the animals that live there in the Baobab National Game Park. And of course, the animals, they're not communicating well with each other either because they all have different things that they have to deal with. The giraffe is very tall and feels that he can't appropriately speak with the other animals. And the lions, there's two different lions. The other animals are afraid of them. So again, key learnings in each of these books. These books retail for $18.77 a piece. So as I've mentioned, there's now 5 of them, and you can pick up any of them, all of them. This is a great gift set to give for children for the holidays, or just for any reason for people who are interested in learning how to listen. It's for adults. I promise you it's for everyone. So that brings me to my next book, which also just came out. I think it was the 21st. This is Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening. So while these books are for children and they're also for their families, this to me is the textbook. This is the Bible of what you need to know of how to listen at an elevated level. And what I want to share with you before I go into the book is, for those of you who are convinced that you are a great listener, maybe you are. There's no judgment. I wish everybody was listening at an elevated level. But I can tell you, with the number of people I interview, people are not listening at an elevated level. I will spotlight someone, like I'm on Spotlight right now, and I'll say to them before the show begins, okay, when you're on Spotlight, please speak no more than 1.5 minutes or 2 minutes. And then I'm going to bring you back so that I can engage with you, or my co-host can engage with you, because this is a TV show. So what happens? I spotlight the person and they start talking. I just had someone for 15 minutes, the person was talking because he wasn't listening. He didn't listen to the directions that I gave as the producer. And even though this person was very successful, and many times we are very successful, we're still not listening because our minds are so filled with so much clutter. So what we teach here is elevated listening. What does that mean? That means that you have to set boundaries and ask for permission. It's very interesting. I got a phone call the other day, and I didn't know whose number it was because it wasn't in my phone, but it was from an area code in New Jersey, and I was waiting for a phone call from someone in New Jersey. So I answered the phone. I said hello, and the other person just started going right into what it was they wanted to speak about. Now, I wasn't sure who it was, but I recognized the person's voice. But they never said, hi, this is so-and-so. Would now be a good time for me to talk to you about X? They just went right into whatever it was they wanted to speak about. And guess what? It was not a good time for me. I was in the middle of doing something. But because I didn't want to hurt the person's feelings, I let them continue for about 5 minutes. And then after that, I said, I'm really sorry, but this is not a good time for me to be having this conversation with you. Now, why do I share that? Because we teach that in this book. And I think your lives would be much happier if you were able to take in some of these principles. So when you ask for permission and set boundaries, the other person might not like it. But what you're letting them know is that they're so important that you want to give them your undivided attention. Undivided attention. So if you're out there right now and you're watching this, are you giving me your undivided attention? Or are you texting comments? Or are you doing something else? Are you listening at the highest level? If you're listening at the highest level, you can't be doing anything else. So if I say to you, Bob, I'd like to share something with you about my new book. It's going to take 10 minutes. Would this be a good time for us to have a conversation? Bob is in the middle of getting a presentation ready. And he says to me, no, I'm sorry, this wouldn't be a good time. That's a gift that Bob just gave me. Because if Bob said, yeah, go ahead, like what I did with that person yesterday, I wasn't able to listen to that person because I was already doing something. Okay. Bob just said, you know what? This isn't a good time because I really do want to hear what you have to say about your new book, but I can't do it right now because I'm writing a presentation. So think about that. If you want to be available for someone, give them the gift of elevated listening when you are able to be completely committed and totally present. Now, in this book, Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening, the actual Bible of how to listen and have better relationships, we have included 2 quizzes. There's a quiz that you can take as a pre-assessment to see what kind of listener you truly are. You can also find it on our website, usaglobaltv.com or drjacalyn.com. So you can take the pre-assessment and the answers are in the book and you can find out, okay, where am I on my listening journey? Then we have case studies, we have testimonials, and then we have a final listening quiz at the end of the book to see how much you've actually learned. So this particular book is the first in the series of elevated listening books. So please go over and pick up a copy on Amazon. Any of these books I'm talking about, go to Amazon and put in my name, Jacalyn Kerbeck, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck. And finally, for now, because we have new books coming out, is Blonde, Sexy, and Hot as Shiites, Beauty, Brains, and Ulcerative Colitis. This book also came out, excuse me, last week. And the purpose of this book, if you don't know me, I have ulcerative colitis for 34 years, I think now. So what that means is I have ulcers all inside of my colon. They're very painful and they act up. Usually 6 months of every year, I'm sick on prednisone plus the other medicines that I take. And it's really debilitating. It can really set me back. But if it weren't for the fact that I have this disease, I would never be doing what it is I'm doing today. Because part of the reason I left corporate was with all the traveling I was doing, I was very sick and I couldn't really travel. You know, it's hard enough, but to get on a plane to travel to another country and you're running to the bathroom could be 50 times a day. Yeah, it's not fun, not pleasant. Or you can't eat for 3 days because you can't make it. You're in the conference room space and you can't, it's a long journey that is painful and not glamorous. And this book is how I managed to do what I do and how I managed to do what I'm doing. So the part I really want to just emphasize is I wrote this book before my mother passed away. She died August 24th. And here's a dedication to her. So it was really unfortunate, obviously, but I included the dedication because the book had been written. And then in here, there are some really cool illustrations. So here's one, A Glamorous Life Turned Upside Down. That's me. I was obsessed with shoes. They had to be designer shoes. So stupid. It was such a big part of my life that I had to have the designer shoes and designer clothes. I could care less now. But this book walks you through my journey. It also gives you resources if you are someone who has IBD or Crohn's disease or ulcerative colitis. And you don't have to have that to buy the book because the book also has some funny things in it. And they're just some stories about what it's like to have an incurable disease, what it's like to date people. And it's my journey. So you can find all of these books on Amazon. I'm going to share my screen with you right now. And again, all you have to do is go over and put in my name, Dr. Jacalyn Kerbeck, and you'll see all the books that are here. And by the way, it's so hard to get a review. And I don't know who's buying my books and who's not. If you've bought a book, why don't you reach out and let me know? Hey, I bought your book. I'd love to hear from you. I'd love to get a review from you. It's reviews are so important. And I know people who buy the books and they don't write any reviews. So this one, Mastering the Power of Elevated Listening, this just came out last week. This one, the Lady Ella Listens in the Baobab National Game Park, that one came out last week. And then this is the one I was telling you about, Lady Ella. This is the name of the whole series, The Adventures of Lady Ella. This one's coming out, The Magical Adventures of Lady Ella and Her Super Powered Friends. And this is kind of cool. Mother Earth hears back from her doctor. She gets a physical and Father Earth tells her that she's not doing too well because part of her planet is dying. So Lady Ella has to team up with her superpowered friends, and they actually have to go into a time machine, and they've got to go back into time so they can go ahead in time to save the snakes in the Congo, and the snakes are uprising. Here's my original book that I told you about, and then here's The Ocean Calls. This new book is coming out, Creative Hearts Awakening. This is a book I'm doing with Dr. Madeline Chan, and we have a number of people who have already joined us in our book collaboration. This was supposed to come out in 2 weeks, but because we're doing World Jenny's Day and so many other things going on, we've pushed it back till November. So there you go. There are all the books, and I hope that that gives you a good overview. And I hope it also is inspirational for you, so that you realize you don't have to be an author. You can start today. Every one of us has a book inside of us. And depending why you're writing, are you writing to get rich? Let's have a conversation. Let's have a long conversation about that, because that doesn't typically happen for very many people. The reason that I write is for the pure joy of it. It's also been fun collaborating with various people on some of the books. And it's actually just a legacy that I'm leaving. It's all around listening. And to me, I feel that's so important. I had many people in my life who did not listen to me, but I had people in my life who did. And the people who did listen to me, they really stand out to me, and they made a difference. And so I want to be that person that people say, you know, she really listened. And that's what people have said. And that's how I got the name, The Listening Mentor. So thank you for listening. Thank you for being here today. And again, please do, if you can, support our work by picking up copies of the books. Again, not here to get rich, just here to spread the word about listening. And if you have children, help them learn how to listen. Help them learn how to listen without judging, without providing a solution, without stealing the stage, and without interrupting. And I'm going to leave us today with Listening Lazies, which is featured again in book number 2. If I can find it here. It's pretty cool, by the way, to have all these books. I'm getting a bookshelf. This is featured in book number 2, Listening Lazies. Let's take a look at this video, and then we'll be back tomorrow. Bye for now.
When we speak, we don't hear. It's abundantly clear. Listening lazy creeping, and nobody's gonna win. Look someone in the eye. If you don't, they surely will cry. You don't hear a word I say, 'cause you always look straight away. Listening lazies drive people crazy. Listening lazies making us blue. Listening lazies, communication goes hazy. Listening lazies, listening lazies. Da 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 da. Listening lazies drive people crazy. Listening lazies making us blue. Listening lazies, communication goes hazy. Listening lazies, listening lazies. When you interrupt your friend, you will surely have to make amends. Lady Ella knows the way to help you listen better every day. And what's that?
It's listening lazy.
Ba-da-ba-ba. Listening lazies drive people crazy. Listening lazies making us blue. Listening lazies, communication goes hazy. Listening lazies, listening lazies. Listening lazies drive people crazy. Listening lazies making us blue. Listening lazies, communication goes hazy. Listening lazies, listening lazies, listening lazies.